One of my superpowers, one of the things that I'm really good at, is making really delicious salads. And I think a big reason for this is the fact that from age 9 until age 27, I ate nothing but raw vegan food. So during that time, I didn't go out to eat. I didn't have people prepare food for me unless it was my parents. And I had to learn how to make enjoyable meals out of raw fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains. So I learned how to make really tasty salads because they would fill me up, they would satiate me, and then life was just a little bit more pleasant. In this video, I want to pass on the love to you, and I want to show you how to make a tasty salad every single time. It's actually quite easy, but there are some tips and tricks to be had, so I want to show you those. And I also want to break down how to make a delicious dressing, because making dressing is just about the easiest thing that you can do, and yet this is something that people are afraid of. People often go to the store to get a dressing. They spend lots of money on something that doesn't taste that good and something that's not that healthful. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a tasty salad. I'm also going to show you how to make a delicious salad dressing to boot. Enough dilly-dallying, let's hop to it. Undoubtedly, somebody in the comments is going to go, "Hey Sergey, what about a recipe for this salad?" And my answer to that is you don't get a recipe. And the reason you don't get a recipe is because it's much more important that you guys understand the fundamentals of how to make a tasty salad than if I were to teach you to follow a recipe. You may not have these exact ingredients in your refrigerator, and I don't really want you to go to the store and take time out of your day to go get the exact ingredients I'm using. I would much rather describe to you how a perfect salad gets formed and then have you just improvise and make your own salad at home. Truth be told, I'm making the salad up as I go. I just found a bunch of fresh ingredients that I had on hand, and I'm going to put them together in a way that's going to be incredibly delicious. But as I start this video, I don't really have any idea of what it's going to look like. I'm improvising. And that's exactly what I'm going to encourage you to do as well, because fresh fruits and vegetables, they don't have uniform tastes. So whereas when you go to bake a cookie or a pie, you're going to use flour and baking soda and a little bit of salt and sugar, and all those things generally taste the same. Fresh fruits and vegetables and greens, they all vary in their tastes. You can have one tomato that's very sweet and one tomato that's very sour. And if a recipe calls for one tomato, it generally doesn't note a sweet or sour one. And yet that variance could drastically change the taste of the final ingredients. So more importantly than giving you a recipe, I want to teach you how to throw these ingredients together, how to balance the flavors so that you're guaranteed to have a delicious product every single time. This is also a lot more convenient because maybe not everybody's going to want to go to the store and get the exact same ingredients that I have on hand. It's much easier to just look into your fridge, see what you have available, and then work with those ingredients. So I invite you to not use what I say here as gospel. Improvise as you see fit. Use this information kind of like a CD. Skip the tracks you don't like. Listen to the tracks that you love. Capiche? Sound good? Okay, let's hop to it. So the very first step in making a delicious salad is getting a nice big bowl to work with. I like stainless steel. It's very easy to clean. It's very easy to mix in these bowls, but you don't necessarily have to use stainless steel. You can use wood or ceramic or whatever. The important thing here is that it has to be big enough for you to be able to make your salad and mix it. One of the first mistakes people make while trying to cook is they don't get a big enough vessel to contain the ingredients, and that way when you go to mix stuff, it doesn't really work. Stuff starts spilling and you don't get like uniform cherry tomatoes or carrot slices all throughout the salad, and it's just not as fun. So step number one, pro tip, get a big bowl. I'm probably going to make a salad that's going to fit in here, but just to be safe, I'm gonna go with the bigger bowl. So let's put that over here. Another thing that I wanna note real quick is that I've already pre-washed all of these veggies. Some of these are garden veggies. Here's some like mustard greens and kales that came out of my garden. Some of those are from a CSA that I got from a local farm. And some things like this cabbage have come from the store. So I have a wide arrangement of different ingredients that I'm gonna be working with. So the first thing that you wanna do is work on your base. And your base is gonna be like your greens. Things like kale, lettuce, endive, that kind of thing. And you know, it's not rocket science. You're just gonna shake it off any excess water and just start chopping. With things like lettuce, because it's very tender, I like to leave slightly bigger chunks because I think that it's very nice. It adds a really nice texture and size to a salad. So my lettuces, I generally don't chop all that fine because it's nice when it goes into the mouth. This is some endive. Same story for this. It's gonna go in the bowl. We have some green garlic. We'll get back to that. Let's do the lettuce first. Some people like to rip their lettuce. That's totally fine. I think a knife works pretty good too. So I just chop everything with the knife. Hi-ya! We're going to do the same thing to the endive. In you go. And you can see that just by using two different types of lettuce, we're already putting interesting textures into our salad. This already is something that you can't buy at most restaurants. Most restaurants will serve you baby greens from Costco, maybe spinach or romaine lettuce. Generally speaking, they're not going to have red leaf lettuce or endive. So you're already winning. You're already making a salad that you probably can't purchase elsewhere. Next on the agenda, we have some cabbage. Now cabbage is a little bit more fibrous than lettuce. So when I go and chop cabbage into the salad, I'm going to make slightly thinner slices because I want that texture to be very pleasant. You know, so you don't have to go too crazy, but thinner slices than the lettuce. And then we'll slice it in half and throw it right on top. Then we'll keep working. Oop. I like to mix my salad as I go, continuously, because I find that my ingredients then are more uniform throughout the salad. One thing I really don't like is when somebody slices up tomatoes or bell peppers, something really tasty, and then they throw it on top, give it a very crappy mix, and then all those ingredients wind up at the bottom of the barrel. And so the first people that dig into the salad, they're eating only lettuce, and the last people are eating only tomatoes. We want everybody who tastes this salad to have all kinds of different flavors. Okay, so next on the agenda, we're gonna keep doing our lettuces. And here we have some radish greens. These are just the green leaves from radish. Perhaps you didn't know, but not only is the radish itself edible, but the leaves are very nutritious and very delicious. We have some mustard flowers, which we'll get back to. I'm going to use those as a garnish later on. A little beet. And we have some baby kale, a couple different varieties. So again, here we're going to go through, we're going to chop some of this stuff up, adding more texture to our delicious, nutritious salad. Also, these little stems, they're completely edible, but I like to not throw them in the salad just because it's a little bit more pleasant for the eater. So those go in the compost. You know, if it's a baby green kale, like that's probably fine to throw the stem in, but as it starts to mature, this gets tough and fibrous, and so it's more pleasant if it's gone. And this isn't rocket science, so if you get a couple stems in there, nobody's going to hold it against you, and nobody's probably even going to notice. All right, that's looking really nice. More compost dumping. Whop, bam, boom. And more mixing. Okay, look at that. That's already gorgeous. You have 4 or 5 different greens in here. Cabbage, kale, lettuce, mustard. This is a millionaire salad right here. And so far, it hasn't cost me very much. Okay, so check it out. Isn't that pretty? This right here, you can just put in a Tupperware and stick in the fridge and then use throughout the week. That's another little pro tip that I'm going to give you, is that you can pre-make different salad mixes, and instead of buying a salad mix from Costco that comes in a bag and creates waste, you can make your own salad mixes, which are way better, way more nutritious, and there's no waste. All of the waste that this has created was actually compost that's later going to go in my garden, and it's going to actually improve the quality of my soil next year. Once that's done, I'm going to start working on my tomatoes. Tomatoes out of the garden are so much better than store-bought tomatoes. It's like a world of difference. In fact, some people say they don't like tomatoes, and then they try tomatoes that come from a garden in my salad, and it blows them away because it's a completely different fruit. And yes, tomatoes are a fruit. So similar to the kale, we're gonna cut the little butts of the tomatoes out because some people don't like that texture. I'm not that picky myself, but I'm not the only one who's gonna be eating this salad, and I wanna make sure that everybody has a nice experience. So I'm gonna consider others and cut out any unpleasant textures. For tomatoes, it helps to have a serrated knife because tomatoes are soft, and unless your knife is very sharp, it's not going to cut through a tomato very well. Now, I've been a bad boy here recently and I haven't taken time to sharpen my knives, so that's something I need to do very soon here, and until then, serrated knife it is. Don't be afraid to add heaps of tomatoes to your salad. Tomatoes give salads like a very sweet, pleasant flavor, and sweetness is a very important flavor to add to recipes. Coming up here soon when we make the dressing, I'm going to talk about the importance of balancing the 5 basic flavors. And tomatoes will help with that because they're going to add sweetness to the salad, and they're just gonna make even people who don't like salads like them more because of that sweet taste. So spend a little extra money and throw an extra few tomatoes in the salad. I promise it'll pay off in the end, especially if you have picky eaters in the house, maybe kids or husbands or wives. So for a salad of that size, I basically used about a pint of mixed tomatoes.